And our first guest to discuss this issue and more, Republican Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne. Congresswoman, this at one point was not a crisis, as the administration says, but now they say that it's a crisis that is under control. Is that what you're seeing down in Texas?
No, absolutely not. I think that response is delusional. And it's from someone who obviously does not know or does not care about what's going on at the border, someone who's not seen it firsthand, like I and a number of my GOP colleagues have. You know, they're not seeing the thousands upon thousands of people crossing into this country every day. They're not seeing or hearing about the gang members that are coming in, the terrorists that are crossing the border, the thousands of pounds of illegal drugs that are coming over the border. To think that they're somehow have this under control is absolutely delusional. And I'll tell you, yes, they have fewer people right now in the Duyne facility. They've got fewer unaccompanied minors, but it's not because they've handled the crisis or the surge at the border. It's because they are taking them by bus and by plane to cities all across the country in makeshift decompression centers, where they are then trying to figure out what to do with the children there. It is a crisis, even though the Biden administration can't seem to say the word.
And, you know, back in 2016, actually, it was probably the issue going into that race, and it did go away a little bit, partially due to the coronavirus pandemic. But there's actually a special election underway right now in Texas between 11 Republicans and 10 Democrats. And I just want to know, do you think that for Republicans, this is a winning issue for them going into the 2022 midterms, the special election, and possibly even 2024?
Absolutely. I think the candidates who are speaking out, who are very strong on what has to happen at the border, who have solutions for it, understand that this is one of the major issues that Texas is facing right now, from a national security, definitely a state security, and a health security. The fact that they're having folks come over who haven't even been tested for COVID-19. Now, that is facing our state right now. It's facing states like Arizona, which is why you've seen Senator Kelly come out so strongly against the Biden administration and quite frankly, the lack of any plan whatsoever. And so, yeah, I definitely think that is going to make a difference in this election. I think people are attuned to what the issues are, and they want to make sure that they've got a candidate who's got solutions and who's willing to stand up and call it what it is.
And I thought it was interesting, Politico writing that Trump gets tested in suburban Texas. And we just talked about whether or not this is really one of those big issues for Republicans. And as you just laid out, it might be one of the winning issues for Republicans. But is this going to be enough? I mean, we've talked to many conservatives, many Republicans who are looking to build on what happened in the last election. And they want to really make some ground, whether it's in the House of Representatives, the Senate, of course, the presidency as well. So what, in addition to immigration, should I say, does the Republican Party need to focus on?
I think they need to focus on what's happened in the last 100 days of the Biden administration. I think they need to focus on the $6 trillion that we had somehow added now with programs that are barely even touching their goal. I mean, if you think about the 94% of the infrastructure bill that doesn't go for infrastructure, if you look at the 94% of the $2 trillion COVID CARES Act that doesn't actually address COVID cares. I mean, they are calling things, but you look at how much trillions of dollars that we've added, complete lack of transparency, lack of details, lack of accountability. Those aren't things that the normal American people want. They don't want to add all of this debt onto their kids and their grandkids' futures. And they want to be able to open up the economy. They want to be able to open up the schools. And that's something that this administration has not addressed. So, yeah, do I think that we're going to have a winning message going to the 2022 elections? Absolutely. And every day that the Biden administration adds more far-left Green New Deal, full government takeover of your lives plans, I think helps the GOP every single day.
And, of course, this past week, we also got some new numbers regarding the census. We know that there was a big exodus from some of the big liberal states, such as New York, California, coming to places such as Texas, and that resulted in New York, for example, losing a House seat. And we now know that electoral college numbers are a little bit different as compared to the last election. So do you think that this actually plays as an advantage for many Republicans going into 2022 and also 2024?
I think people they vote with their feet. And what you've seen is people who are making these mass exodus out of states like California that, you know, are taxing them, are regulating them, are not letting their kids go back to school, are keeping the places that they like to shop and eat and businesses that they may work in or they may own closed. I think that's definitely going to hurt. And I think, you know, I've spoke with a lot of businesses and a lot of business owners that have moved here in the last year from California, and they said, you know, we used to be Democrats, never going to vote that way again.
And we even see corporations doing the same thing. I know a lot of them moving from maybe the San Francisco Bay Area down to Austin, Texas. We know that Miami is also becoming one of those hotspots as well. I think that there are a lot of people that are looking to make that exodus for financial reasons and going to places such as Texas and Florida, as you just laid out. But Congresswoman Van Duyne, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you very much.
And Biden loves to tout himself as the holier-than-thou anti-Trump, but the country's Catholic leadership